Seen from Cade McNamara so far? What's he been able to show you? 7-on-7, 11-on-11, and what will he play on Saturday, and what form?
Yeah, no. He may get some work on Saturday, but obviously we want to be smart. He's been a little bit limited coming off of his surgery, but he's been out there. He's been out there in individual and 7-on-7, doing things like that. So able to get reps, able to work, able to throw the football, but hasn't been able to do any 11-on-11 work. But certainly been pleased with what we've seen and what he's been able to do, and just kind of get acclimated to what's going on. So that's been positive.
What's been the quality level of work you can have kind of holistically with so many different players out, whether it's with injuries or whatever, and how have they looked at, the offensive linemen who are out and then wide receivers?
Yeah, you just have less reps, right? You can still get quality work. You just can't get as much. So maybe what we've been used to in the past in the spring, you're probably not seeing the same amount of volume. But the work is quality work. It's good work. And right now I've been pleased with what we've seen. But it's a process, and you're trying to, feel your way through that. You go off of experience. You know what maybe some benchmarks are that you're looking for, and we're seeing those. But also, it's far from a finished product.
Brian, I know it's still early, but Eric All, one of the big additions you guys have gotten as you guys regress in the transfer portal. Is there any maybe Iowa tight end that he's resembled just in obviously the limited skill set and reps that you've seen?
Well, I've seen a lot of Eric dating back to high school, right? So, we recruited Eric. We're involved in that process and really liked him as a high school player. I don't know about comparisons. I know this, he looked really good on the field against us 2 years ago. And I went out and had seen him on crossover tape. He played well. I know he had a pretty good game against Northwestern that year. I remember seeing that. Caught a couple balls in a 2-minute drill. But seeing him on the field warming up, I felt pretty good about what our evaluation had been, 3 years prior. I thought it turned out he was pretty good. But I've seen that here, and I don't know. I struggle with comparisons. I remember, and I don't know who asked me. I think it was maybe Randy Peterson in 2012 asked me to compare C.J. Fedorowicz to Rob Gronkowski. They're both 6'5", and they both play tight end. One guy had caught like about 100 balls in the National Football League, and I think the other guy had 26 career catches in college football. Really good football player, right? But comparisons, I don't know. I just know this. He's a good player. He's a big guy. He's a physical guy. Moves very well for his size. And I think his one of the probably most undervalued things about a tight end, maybe not, but just his ability to catch the football. He just has really natural ball catching skills. So it's been exciting. But like Cade, he's been a little bit limited coming off a back injury. So we try to limit his teamwork. He's seen more 11-on-11 work, certainly than Cade, who's seen none. But just have been really pleased with all those things. One mention I would make on both those guys, the football part is good. We knew that would be good. They're a proven commodity. They've done it. But what they've brought to our football team, just on a personal level, from a leadership standpoint, from an experience standpoint, I've really been more pleased with that than anything. I mean, this guy likes football. He cares about football. He likes being a part of a team. He's a fun guy to coach and be around.
You're coming off back-to-back years of really subpar offensive results. What are you doing differently this time around to avoid this same thing from happening next year?
We're going to do the same things we do. We're going to do them better, John.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. It seems like every spring there's talk about major changes on offense. Not you guys, but on the outside, major changes are going to happen. Does this offense need to change significantly, philosophy and everything, or do you just have to do better what you guys have been doing for years?
Yeah. Have you ever heard that talk from me?
No, outside, more from us.
So, look, I'm going to approach my job the same way I've approached it for the last 11 seasons. My job is to help us win football games. We have a tried and true method. We know how we win. We know who we are. My job is to make sure we play to those strengths. And then on Saturdays, we're winning games, not losing them.
I mean, to be fair, some of the players have said there's been notable tweaks, some tweaks in terms of how you get the ball to certain guys. So what kinds of things did you get that maybe you and Budmeyer or whoever else, what kind of things did you figure out that you maybe needed to change?
Our job as an offensive staff is to get together every year and tweak the things that we do and figure out how to do what we do better. I don't know that there's any notable changes or, you know,
You don't think
if
so?
that's what the players think, that's super, that's great. We're just trying to move the football, we're trying to help the team win games.
For you guys to have success, though, you have to run the ball. Have you seen that growth running the football?
Yeah, I think for anybody to have success, you have to run the football. You know, I think the game's pretty simple. You need to block, you need to tackle. If you just look at it offensively, right, you need to be able to do a couple of things. You need to be able to block, okay? You need to be able to throw and catch, and then you have to be able to run with the football. But the reality is, until you can block, you can't do any of the other things. Doesn't matter, right? So you can't run the football, and you certainly can't throw it effectively. So yeah, we need to block. We need to run the football. I've seen improvement in those areas, but like I mentioned to Scott, it's early, right? It's still April, so we're trying to hit the benchmarks that we need to hit. We're trying to make sure we see the progress that we need to see. But the reality is we have young players that have played a lot, and that experience can be a real positive if you use it to your advantage, right? If you learn from some of the things that you've done. And I've seen some learning and some growth, so that's positive. But the reality is none of it really matters until September 2nd or 3rd, whichever day it is, and then we'll find out for real.
You know, in 2020, you guys averaged almost 32 points a game, ran for 4.6 yards per carry. I think there's a correlation for your offense, it seems to be there. Was a big factor in that the offensive line, Alaric Jackson, Cole Banwert, some of those guys, and does this offensive line have the capabilities to meet or match or even exceed maybe what that offensive line was capable of?
I mean, I think when we're running the football effectively, I don't care what year it is, the line is a big part of that, but it's a team effort too, right? So are we in the right play? You know, I mean, that starts with me, then it goes to the quarterback. You know, are we blocking the right guys? Obviously that's important. We need the line playing well, we need the tight ends playing well, we need receivers blocking on the perimeter. But we need to make sure we're exchanging the ball at the right depth. We need to make sure we're on the right track. If we get guys into space, right, we're out there, we got 11 guys, theoretically, right, I suppose if we're optioning, we could block more than 9. But for the most part, we're going to be able to block 9 guys, however we choose to do it. So at some point, we're going to have the ball carrier on someone, even if we block everything perfectly, then what is he doing with it, right? So, you know, I just bring that up, say, if you want to look backwards, which I prefer not to, but 2020, I think it was a team effort. You know, you mentioned the offensive line. Yeah, we had some good players up front, did a nice job. I thought Mekhi Sargent ran the ball extremely well in 20, and I thought Tyler did as well, right? So they were a good complement to one another. So, you know, for all those things moving forward to kind of click and get those kind of results, we're going to need the same thing. And that's why this time of year is so important. But the reality, right, to compare 20 to 23, I don't know. It's kind of like comparing players. It's not my forte. This is a new year. We have a whole new team. We've got, you know, a brand new opportunity. That's what my focus is on, just like it is every year.